That music's intense, right? This is New Retro Wave. It's a cool channel that I found on YouTube. It's old school synthesizer, but you know, it's new artists using the old tools. It's got a cool vibe to it. I highly suggest you check it out if you're feeling it. Hello, Art Institutes, mainly the Art Institute of Tampa. I'm Silas Orion Caldwell. I'm sure you probably know me. I am taking this moment to make a little video to present some constructive criticism. I don't want to be negative, and I don't want it to come off as bitching. I just know that sometimes when I'm disgruntled or struggle, I go to the smoke pits or the break rooms, and I buddy up with the other people who are complaining. And there are some useful tools that come up that, you know, a lot of times we forget when the town hall is happening, and we don't end up going. And if we do show up, you know, we forget when it comes time to give our 2 cents, or we're a little mousy and we don't have the confidence or courage to say anything. And what does come through, I know everyone's spread real thin, and sometimes you forget, and it's hard to juggle what to implement or what not to. And I thought maybe a videotape would be cool so you can go back to it, and it'd be a helpful tool. It's mainly for me to give my opinions. It's going to be a little biased because it is me, but I'm going to touch on some things that I thought really resonated with other people. I wanted to talk about just overall structure. Structure is good, and I've had it in a lot of classes, but it would be really cool if it was just emphasized a little bit. If whenever you came into a class, we had an element of repetition and the same type of thing, so we knew what to expect. Like a timeline. I know we have the syllabus and it's broke down weekly. That's great, but if it always, you know, we said, "Oh, here's today's agenda. There's a timeline on the board, name on the board. This is what we're doing." They gave us about 10 minutes to yak a little bit, settle down, let the late people stumble in, and then we get started. They recap. We know what time our break is, and then we get in the home stretch, and then we stop with enough time to start the homework before we head out the door. I think that is really important, and it's happened before, and I think it works the best. If we start it before we go out the door, make sure we get it all moving, and the instructor comes behind each one of us individually and make sure that our interpretation of the assignment is what it should be, and we're not taking on more than we should chew or going a direction that's not going to work that we're not aware of. And then there's no surprises when we show up the next week. And if we're not motivated and our head isn't clear, and we find clarity later, at least we know how to tackle it, you know, if we decide to do it. And I think that would be very detrimental. And another thing I would say, there's been, in the software classes mainly, because that's my weak spot, I struggle the most in it, if we could utilize some PDFs, screenshots, and tutorials. It's happened already for me, and that's what really made things click. I'll go ahead and say Jason Alt, he's one of our instructors, and when he did it, the way he presented it was really the most clear to me and easy for me to understand. And I would love to see that in the rest of my classes through here. He would make these PDFs where he screenshot the software, highlighted the particular tools we're going to use with little words describing what the tool's for and what we're going to use it for. And he also would make tutorials in-house by him of him doing the assignment and put it online and in the e-companion so we could access it anytime we need to and pause it and follow along in case we don't understand how to do it ourselves. It really helped me. It was detrimental, and I would love to have that in future classes. And it's a benefit too, because let's say, you know, some of these classes we're only in them for 11 weeks and we just touch it a little bit, then we put it aside and it falls out of our head. If we had those PDFs and those tutorials, we could save them to our hard drive and always fall back on them. We could say, hey, I remember when I learned that trick, and I can pull it up and revisit it and bring it back in my head. That'd be an awesome tool. And I know that sometimes I frustrate the instructors because I need them to hold my hand, and I learn best not in a school environment but as like a shadowing type scenario, which doesn't work well in this environment. There's 20 students. You can't have one person looking over your shoulder holding your hand the whole time. And it's kind of hard when you have 20 kids or students and there's a projector over there and you're trying to watch and you can't even see what's being clicked. I think that tutorials and the PDFs can really help with that issue. But if we had tutors, you know, I was dreaming about potentially having like an A team of students or go-to guys, maybe in the back of one of the open labs, where you just have designated machines and a designated spot where you know they're there. You can sign up. Ideally, you'd want to sign up and pre-plan your time. But if for some reason you can catch them and there's no one there, you can get that one-on-one time. You know, you can have those people. It would also help for anyone who wants it, to maintain and some of the things that we've learned. You know, have them improve yourself, make sure that you're proficient and able to teach it, and that way it doesn't fall out of your head. You can keep teaching people. The last open lab that we had 24 hours, I felt bad because there was a student who came, and it was in a class that I had taken, but it had been so long that I couldn't even help them. But it's really hard. I know that it's a challenge because no one wants to donate their personal time, and the most realistic way to make this happen would to be able to pay people. You know, pay tutors just like we pay the library tutors to do math and English. If we paid them to stay in the lab for so many hours, they're there and they're available to help people in each discipline. That would just really help us get the best out of us. Another thing I wanted to mention was the kit. I know when I first got here, I was asking about the kit. I said, is this kit, I know you're asking a big chunk of money, is it mandatory? They told me it was. I'm not sure if it technically is still, but they told me that's all you'll have to buy and it's everything you need. And I think they just weren't aware that it wasn't. And I know I've heard through the grapevine that it's a corporate decision that comes down and you're not really, it's out of your hands about what's in there. But maybe if you had a little powwow and with the people, with the instructors who teach the fundamental classes, looking at the supplies that are in the kit and designing the curriculum around those supplies. I think that's really doable, and that'll avoid anyone being mad or upset like I was, because it's kind of annoying when you were told you'll have everything you need and you show up day one and you get a laundry list of stuff you have to go buy out of pocket. And the last thing I wanted to touch in is I'm not sure any of the red tape or if this is possible or who to present this idea to, but it'd be really nice to have all of the software that is offered for our personal computers. Like hypothetically, if we came in and there was a little list of the hardware that's required for your own personal laptop or desktop to support the software that you get, and then maybe have workshops like College Success or something where you put them onto your computer and you have it for the entire time that you're going to be at the Art Institute. And you know, maybe even legitimately have the rights to it would be awesome, so we wouldn't be tempted to torrent stuff. And so we could take on freelance and we'd be ready to go as soon as we graduate, make things that we want to make. Another thing I wanted to bring up, this is just some gee whiz stuff. I like the 24-hour challenge. I know there's been times where I don't participate because I don't feel up to it and I'm not willing to take, I'm not looking forward to sacrificing the grueling thing. I still think it should be available for people who are willing to do it, but it doesn't have to be the only thing that we have. We could also have like a weekend, or I would love like over the end of quarter contest. It doesn't have to be a challenge. If it's a contest, you don't feel obligated to make it harder than it needs to be. But if you have that, then you can get people's best work instead of their crammed, compromised work. They'll have enough time to work out the kinks, and you could really have some pieces that could show what we're capable of. It'd be awesome if we could check out stuff long-term over the break. I'm not sure how realistic that is. I mean, you could have the same accountability like when we have to check out equipment for the weekend, but that's a whole other can of worms. I'm just planting some seeds that hopefully will blossom. I don't want to come off as negative or like I'm bashing. This place is great. I don't think any of the staff is against us, or there's everyone's rooting for us to do good things, and we've done good things, but we could do great things and better things. And I think some of these ideas that I meant could be